very grateful that you watch and listen to the No Spin News, and I hope you're grateful that we give you honest information without all this BS, because we're drowning in that. Corporate media is absolutely falling apart, and I think we've documented that pretty well. Now, the Talking Points memo this evening is courtesy of a viewer, John Bosch, who lives in Buffalo Grove, Illinois, writes, Bill, what was more damaging to the country, the riots of the summer of 2020 or the January 6th invasion of the Capitol? Well, that is an excellent question, John. And let me analyze it in a no-spin way. It is a split decision. So let's look at the George Floyd riots first. As far as damage to human beings, property, the image of local policing, this was a catastrophe, all right? So 7,000 people, 7,000 were injured who needed medical attention, according to the New England Journal of Medicine. 7,000. Property damage, $2 billion plus. Insurance had to pay $2 billion plus in those riots. At least 200 cities experienced them. All right? National Guard, 96,000 guards people were called out to restore order. There were an amazing amount of arrests. We can't even tabulate them all. One source, the Washington Post, not reliable, so 17,000 arrests in the 50 largest cities. I think it's a lot more than that. And then we want to know, well, how many were convicted? That stat doesn't exist because it's individual reporting and some of them don't report. However, cities like Dallas and Philadelphia dropped charges on 95% of the rioters. 95%. LA, Houston, 93%. So probably maybe a handful of protesters out of all of these people who hurt other people actually paid a price for their crimes. So this was an enormous deficit for the United States of America, the riots after the George Floyd killing. But it was underreported by the liberal corporate media because, generally speaking, the network CNN, they sympathize with the rioters. So they didn't want to really tell the folks, you, me, what was happening. They diminished it. That's true, beyond any reasonable doubt. Let's go now to the January 6th Capitol riot. This is very interesting. So this was reported poorly as well, because there were a number of things happening all at once. There were violent protesters, you see them right there, and plenty of them, by the way, plenty of them. And then there were peaceful protesters who followed the violent protesters inside the Capitol building, trespassing. Okay, they were not allowed to be there. Everybody should understand that anybody who went on the Capitol grounds, went into the building, violated the law, federal law. And you can see the police were confronted. And that must have been a harrowing experience for the police. So, more than 1,000, and contrast this to the George Floyd riots, which weren't federal, by the way. Floyd riots were local DAs. This is federal, okay? More than 1,000 cases, more than 400 convictions so far. Most of those have pleaded guilty to a variety of charges. Now, this got enormous coverage, ongoing coverage from the corporate media, which despised the people that went to the Capitol. So the corporate media sympathized with the George Floyd protesters, but despised the Trump people who broke into the Capitol. And so the coverage was tilted that way. They call it spun. There's no doubt about it, okay? So you didn't see peaceful people just roaming around the Capitol. You saw the footage that we just looked at. Okay, now, the tapes that came out this week, Fox News concentrated on the peaceful people. All right. So they were spinning the riot as well, because the conservative cadres in America are sympathetic and don't like the fact that so many people got convicted in the Capitol riot. So that's it. Fox did the same thing by diminishing the riots at the Capitol that the left did by diminishing the riots after George Floyd. It's exactly the same thing. Now, it wasn't to the same extent, and that's important. All of the left-wing corporate media piled on and tried to diminish the George Floyd situation. All of it. Only one news outlet, and not everybody in it, by the way, okay, tried to diminish the Capitol riot. So the ratio of coverage was crazy. So my point of view in the talking points memo is that none of that should have happened. That both stories should have been reported accurately, and I said that to Chris Cuomo last night on News Nation. Roll it. I'm saying that the reporting on these big stories is shoddy, okay? That people don't know how to report the stories. So, in the January 6th situation, the Fox News audience, generalizing about it, but I think it's true, didn't see it the way that the CNN audience saw it, because this is the polarization. So the Fox News commentators, some of them, try to diminish what happened on January 6th. That was not good analysis or honest reporting. You don't diminish something.
But it wasn't
heinous
offsetting what CNN was doing. We weren't covering it to give an exaggerated notion of how violent it was.
I don't know why you can't understand this. CNN's coverage of the riots after George Floyd was just as bad as Fox's coverage of January 6th. Oh, come on. You got a guy standing in front of you got a guy standing in front of a building on fire that looks into the camera with a microphone and goes, hey, it's mostly peaceful out here. Come on. Okay. So what I'm saying is true. Some people will be offended because they don't feel that the Capitol riot was that bad. It was that bad. All right? And because it made the United States look like a third world country all over the world. It made it look like that we, the people, don't respect, all right, our system of governance. So we have to storm the Capitol. And when historians chronicle our age here, the George Floyd riots are not going to get into the history books. But the Capitol riot will. Okay, it will. Because that was so stunning and had never happened before that it elevated itself up. But as far as the human toll, obviously the George Floyd riots were much worse. So it's a duality here. There are a number of things going on. And in order to be honest, a good reporter and a good analyst, you have to point out all of the things. You can't just ignore the casualties after George Floyd. You can't just ignore that, yes, there were peaceful demonstrators inside the Capitol, but there was a hell of a lot of them were violent. You can't downplay that. That's not honest. So, I've been doing this for a long time. I know how to cover a story. I know how to analyze a story. And that's why you're here, because I'm going to tell you the truth as I see it, back it up with facts. And if it offends, it offends. Bill O'Reilly here for Lone Star Transfer. If booking your timeshare has been difficult in the past, it's been almost impossible lately. Most clients are shocked to learn that their timeshare is now available to the public, severely limiting booking options. Many owners are upset their yearly dues have nearly doubled during this maintenance fee season. For well over a decade, this family-owned company has had the pleasure of helping more than 18,000 owners legally and permanently get out of their timeshare fees. With an A-plus rating at the Better Business Bureau and more than 900 five-star testimonials, Lone Star Transfer is a company you can trust. Lone Star Transfer guarantees the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. So please call my friends today for a free, no-obligation consultation at 855-551-7066, 855-551-7066, or online at lonestartransfer.com. Okay, this is a report from the World Obesity Foundation, which tracks chubby people. By the year 2035, 12 years from now, the report says that 50% of the world's population will be rotund. R-O-T-U-N-D, word of the day, okay? 50%. Now, kids are getting chubby at an alarming rate, okay? So right now, 100 million boys are obese and about 90 million girls. And that's going to double, according to this World Obesity Federation. So why is this happening? And we have gone over this, and we do it because we want you to have a good life, a smart life and a good life. Processed food, you know, and I eat it. I have to admit, I eat some processed food. I'm trying to get my cupboard free of it, but throughout my life, because I'm on the run all the time, and I don't have a chef to cook me up healthy meals. Processed food, cheap food, fast food, okay? The only fast food that I will eat now is Chick-fil-A, and we don't have any association with them at all. I'll eat Chick-fil-A. That's it. None of the others, because it's just greasy. It's bad for me. It's bad for you. And sugar. So the cheaper the food is, the worse it is for you, generally speaking. All right? And that's why half the world is going to be chubby, which means that the diet books, if you go to Amazon.com and you look at the top 100 book list, there's got to be 20 diet books on there. To me, I don't do that. I just have cut the sugar out, not all of it, but most of it. And I'm walking the terror dog as much as I can, and I'm in good shape. I have the same waist size now that I had in college. And that's my litmus test. I got to keep that 36-inch waist. All right, if my clothes start to get tight, then I know a little less of the stuff that's making me chubby. The chairman of the Fed is promising more pain ahead. Last year, stocks dropped a whopping 20%. 2023 could be worse. You are right to be worried. So call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Since I've been a client and spokesperson, the price of gold has appreciated more than 35%. So please call today, and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They have thousands of satisfied customers and have the highest rating in the country with an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. Please tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they will give you up to $5,000 of free silver on your first order. Please call 866-501-5201. That's 866-501-5201, or text Bill to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201, or text Bill to 65532. Final thought of the day. So I just demonstrated on a terrible thing like the January 6th riot how high-ranking people, including the House, the Senate Majority Leader, Schumer, the President of the United States, Biden, the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, and the, I don't even know what the adjective is, Liz Cheney, all lied about the deaths of police officers in the Capitol. You cannot say with certainty that that intrusion led to their deaths. You can say, and this is legitimate, it's my opinion that it did, and I'll respect that. In fact, the Brian Sicknick family holds that opinion. But you cannot say it as fact. And they do, all the people I mentioned, because they want you and every American to hate Donald Trump and all the MAGA people, to hate them. That's the only reason you lie at that level. Now, why is this happening? Number one, parenting. My children lied to me. They got sanctioned and hard, so they didn't lie to me. There's a few occasions, and I discipline. Teachers in the classroom are encountering an epidemic of cheating. Cheating is lying. It's the same thing, being dishonest, okay? Very, very few students are sanctioned when caught cheating. So the message is, just like shoplifters, if I get, so what? So what? Okay? Then you get into the court system. People perjure themselves every day. The judge knows, the lawyers know, it's proven they're perjuring themselves. Nothing happens. Nothing. Okay? They just walk out the door. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. I do, I swear. Then you lie, you should be punished. Fine. No. Once that breaks down, there's no barrier. So people with no moral compass say, what's the upside of telling the truth? I just lie. Much easier, and I'll get stuff if I lie. And the politicians, the people who are supposed to be leading the way, they're lying their butts off. It's not funny. That was a cynical laugh. It can destroy the fabric of a society, and it is. Non-punishment for criminals and non-punishment for dishonest behavior is wiping out slowly our civilization here in America. It's true. Think about it. Thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We always try to bring you the best product we can. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.